when we mentioned financial regulatory reform, this is Senator Mitch McConnell on the Senate floor. He has been beating the drum on this for a couple days now. Take a listen.
The bill our colleagues across the aisle are insisting on as the remedy is seriously flawed. The good news is the bill can be improved, and both sides have expressed a willingness to make the changes needed to ensure without any doubt, that this bill would not allow future bailouts of Wall Street banks.
We're joined now by our favorite, Top Line's favorite correspondent at the New York Times, Jeff Zeleny. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you, there's a provocative piece today in Politico talking about the two Obamas. In Washington, Obama seems like he is on a tear. Passes health care, some success on the foreign policy front. They seem to have a coherent, strong message on the financial regulatory reform. And yet, out in the country, poll after poll, there seems to be no bounce whatsoever. He is, in many polls, at his lowest level in terms of approval. What's going on?
It's frustrating to the White House, no question, because they believe that the last few weeks have been, some of their brightest spots ever, but it's not being translated. Ask some of these House Democrats who are running for office, some of these Senate Democrats. I think what's going on is one thing. The White House has potentially underestimated the level of angst. They sort of, dismiss the idea of the Tea Partiers. Oh, it's just this sort of, loud group of people. There are a lot of Democrats and independent voters. They may not say they're Tea Partiers, and they're not, but they are frustrated with what's going on. So word has been slow to reach the rest of the country. I think over the summer that may improve a little bit. That might tick up a little bit. He'll be out campaigning a lot. I don't remember a time during his presidency so far where he's been in Washington so much. He perhaps could take that up a little bit if he got out there and held one of his big rallies. I think we'll see more of that coming up.
What do you make of the way they're handling the financial regulatory reform? Are you seeing the lessons of healthcare applied? I mean, there's some broad similarities, but then if you look at it, I mean, it does seem like they're doing things a bit differently.
If it takes a year and 3 months or whatever healthcare reform took, I think they'll be in trouble because the election will be over by that point. I think it seems to me that this is, as you said earlier, an issue that it's going to be pretty tough to not get some Republicans on board on this. I'm not sure it's exactly the same as health care, but the president seems to me to be more involved in this personally than he was in the early months of the health care reform. The clock is ticking on this. I mean, so Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, saying that there is a deadline. I think this deadline might come closer to being met than all those health care debate deadlines. I mean, this isn't an issue that has as much baggage as health care. That has, I mean, it's fraught with its own problems. But I think it'll happen sooner rather than later, or they'll call it quits and basically adjourn for the year and go to campaign.
The interesting thing about this is you've got the clear populist anger at the banks, especially when you connect it to the bailout. But you also have this populist skepticism that government can do anything at all. So, both sides trying to play a populist game here, and it's not just on the anti-Wall Street. I mean, anti-Wall Street, yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean trust that the government can deal with the problem.
I'm not sure that the voters, the electorate, are confident that the government can deal with any problem. I think the healthcare debate, the healthcare law hasn't changed that. It is a big problem for Democrats.